Appreciate.
I'm back. I'm back.
Just connecting all the streams. Right, meow?
Dude, let's be honest. Like, what if anime girls were real and you could have sex with them?
That's interesting.
No, for real, man.
They probably hate us all because of their personalities.
I mean, they all have
and a lot would kill us.
Dude, I would totally be in love with a tsundere. I'd also be clinically depressed.
Yeah, well. Zach Taylor, hello, sir. YouTube. Ready to talk some Vigi games.
Yo, man, my chat is popping too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, all nobody talking?
G, I think D's lurking, Enage is lurking, and who the fuck else was lurking? Who's the Guardian?
Alright.
Do you know the only place that tells proper 12 whiskey in my town is the bowling lane?
The bowling alley?
Yeah, fucking bowl away. Fuck that place, dude. They sell good curly fries.
I got thrashed on Wednesday night last week. Drinking a bourbon.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I tried a new one I've never had before, and then like all of a sudden my stomach turned upside down and I was like, whoa, this is not good.
You turn eggnog in it at least?
Eggnog's disgusting, so we're not talking about that.
Fuck you. Fuck you, JD.
Alright. Counting down.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Wait, are we doing this on one or are we doing it on go?
Go.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. And it's episode 15 of the Red Leaf Modern Cast. Yes, it's the Modern Gaming Edition. It's that time of the month yet again. It's great to be here. I am your host, JD, joined here with my buddy Drew from the West Coast. How you doing?
West Coast, best coast.
Left coast, wrong coast.
Left coast.
Yeah, you're on that left coast.
Shit, that doesn't help. Yeah, we're on the loose coast.
It's episode 15. We're talking modern games. We're talking all those big important games that came out in October. And before we start on,
the new November.
Well, yeah. Well, there was 3 big releases last year in October. That was Wolfenstein, Mario Odyssey, and Assassin's Creed Origins. I think those were the 3. They all came out like on the same day. So, and I'm sure the chat is just dying to know what games we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk a little bit about the Xbox One conference that happened in Mexico, which was that was a thing that occurred.
I still know nothing about it, by the way.
Oh, it's a gem. It's a gem. But we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. We got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Super Mario Party, Forza Horizon 4, Mega Man 11, Red Dead Redemption 2, Starlink, and the final monthly thoughts on Call of Duty Black Ops 4. So that will be quite the interesting conversation for all these games. Yeah. Even our chat's going, whoa, a lot of things. Yeah, paid actors on the Xbox One. Well, why don't we get right into it? Because we got a lot to talk about, and we don't want to be here for 3 hours, for sure.
Yep, true. I really am actually very hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm tired myself. I just did a retro gaming podcast episode this afternoon over strange and weird video games. That was the theme. We picked 6 games, so definitely go listen to that. It's coming out this week.
I just played a tournament and like 4 ladder matches.
You did a ladder match? How's your back?
Dude, my back was sore because it was on top of the scoreboard every fucking map.
Oh,
my
boy.
Backpack is heavy. Cheerio.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us in the chat today. And if you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher, go leave us a review. And if you do that, then you will take a screenshot of that review, put it to @bowlingjd, and you'll be automatically entered then into a contest we're running.
Yeah. And if you do stuff on my channel, I'll be giving away a 100 Thieves jersey here in the next month, and then maybe a copy of Black Ops 4 and some hoodies for December.
Well, you got
follower and subscriber giveaways. So.
Oh, there you go. You got material giveaways. I thought I'd do a little bit. I thought I'd do for the Red Leaf Retrocast something a little bit more out of the box. Get the fans more involved in what the podcast is. So, if you leave us a review on iTunes or Stitcher, subscribe on our YouTube channel, Red Leaf Retrocast, or follow us on Podbean, which is our main host site. Then. Yep. You can be entered up to 4 times. Then you will be entered, and the winner will be chosen. And if whatever fan of whichever podcast you are, be it the wrestling, the Retrocast, or the anime, well, then you can decide what anime we review, what theme we play games for the Retrocast, and you get to pick 2 games for that. And in the wrestling one, you will get to choose the wrestler spotlight. So it's a lot of retro involved there. The modern cast, we're still just going to stick to our same style. So
yeah, but if you win, you could also make us do something on the modern cast. So come up with something. Sure, I'll do it.
You'll do it. Drew will do it. Drew's got your back. My cat's causing more trouble.
I got you. Tell me what to do. I'll do it.
All right. So yeah, definitely go do that. Hit me up on Twitter @bowlingjd to prove that you did enter. Otherwise, I have no real way to tell otherwise. But let's get into it. Xbox One 18 occurred down in Mexico City. A conference that's... Excuse me, Drew?
Mexico.
Mexico. And
Mexico.
They've been hyping this up. It was... supposedly going to be something. Oh, well, not very well as it seems.
No, they've been hyping it up. They've been like, XO18, are you ready? And we're like, oh, am I? I don't know.
They were really making it seem like it was going to be something like the PlayStation experience or something as big as the Paris Games Week, which we cover on the cast. PlayStation decided to bypass it this year. We did cover it last year. It was a lot came out of it last year, whether it's some VR games, some new titles being released, games in development they wanted to just announce, whatever it may be. It was a celebration of PlayStation. So I was interested in Xbox because to me they lacked a lot of, I was very critical of Xbox because I wanted them to show me something to be competitive, right? At E3. So I didn't watch the conference. I wanted to do other things. I did read up on it afterwards, and then I caught some highlight videos of what they were doing, what they announced, and here's what happened, Drew.
What happened?
They basically just showed extended trailers of what was already said at E3.
Was there a Halo Infinite trailer?
No.
Oh.
No, not a single new game was announced. And it was basically just expansion packs for something that was already released, such as State of Decay 2 and Sea of Thieves.
Hey,
they showed... well, fans weren't too happy. Supposedly there were paid actors in the audience, and you could see on camera kind of the producers in the behind the cameras, kind of before an announcement would be made. They'd signal for the crowd to hype up during these moments. It was very just out there in what they're trying to do. Yeah,
that's not good.
No, it wasn't good at all. And by the end of it, YouTube exploded with reaction videos of Xbox fans. Twitter exploded with what the hell just happened. Why did this even happen in the first place? Why was this a conference? Why did this? It made no sense. I mean, if they were just transparent in what it was going to be from the start, then it would have just been, hey, come join us for an Xbox party. But that's not what it was. They had it.
Dude,
they made it seem. I've been to one myself.
Yeah,
they're
Xbox
fun.
Parties are awesome.
They're fun.
All kinds of drugs and booze.
Oh yeah, okay, sure. But that's not what this was. They made it.
There were no drugs and no
There was no drugs, basically no games to be announced or in development. You know, at the very least, people were expecting maybe a Battletoads trailer to show us gameplay or something, or show us a little bit of behind the scenes development. No, it was just the same trailer.
In this showcase, there was literally one announcement worth anything.
And what was that, Drew?
That announcement was that Xbox has acquired Obsidian.
Yes, that was the one thing that came out of it. They acquired one more developer, and it was really just kind of brushed over as not a big deal.
Which is because, I mean, like, really, that doesn't ring because a lot of casuals probably don't know what Obsidian is, you know. So, I mean, you can't say we acquired Obsidian, do a big thing, because most of your casual audience doesn't really get that. They don't really. But in my mind, I was like, hey, look at that. That's kind of big, you know?
Mm-hmm.
A couple years, that'll pay off. So that was XO18. I didn't know we've...
You're breaking up like a son of a bitch on the live stream.
Yeah, you've been breaking up like a son of a bitch, too, on the live stream.
Okay,
so.
Great. It's working on both ends.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So has there been 17 other XO 2018? Repeat
your question, please.
Is there been 17 other?
This isn't working. I can't hear a thing you're saying.
All right, to answer my own question, it's probably a 2018 thing because I've never heard of XO before, or maybe they fail every single year and I just don't care enough to understand. But anyway.
Okay. No, this was the first. This was the first thing. This was the first thing. So, Xbox acquiring Obsidian is a big thing for them because they have made the Pillars of Eternity series. I believe they're also the same dev team that was behind the more popular Fallout series, be it New Vegas.
Yeah.
My prediction
Obsidian is a big pickup, dude. It is a big pickup.
That's the first one that kind of pops out to me. But I have a funny feeling because they're a successful RPG company or developer that they're just gonna make them do mobile games.
No, Microsoft did their touch in mobile games, and they do that no more. They worked with Halo on mobile; it never really flew. I think they're gonna work on a first party game because I think they are trying to fill out the first party, class. They're trying to get all the genres shoved in there, I think these last pickups since E3 and Obsidian here at XO, I think they're actually trying to get developers to fill out the full first party lineup. So I don't think they'll be doing mobile games because it's just not rational. They already failed with them. So,
well, that's optimistic thinking. I'm going to be more on the pessimistic on that side.
Dude, they're not idiots at Xbox. They're in a bad spot. They're trying to fill up because they know what gamers want, and they're trying to get there. They just have to. That stuff takes time. So.
Well, they did put themselves in this position in the first place, so.
Well, and that guy got fired. Now Full Stack's trying to fix it up.
We'll see what happens over the next couple years, especially with all these companies being acquired. But I have my prediction set in place that the Tales of Eternity, Obsidian people will just make a mobile game, just like Rare made all those. They turned them into Kinetic people, or Kinetic. Kinect.
I don't think Microsoft's going to dabble in mobile again. That did not go well for them last time.
We'll see. But that was the Xbox conference. Very, very disappointing. Just a total grand waste of time. But with that, I'm going to play a victory jingle because we're going into some probably the greatest month of 2018 in game releases. So here we go.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Supposed to talk about news.
What news? We already talked about news. That was the Xbox conference.
Oh, that's true. Okay, yeah, that was the news.
That was the news. If you want to talk about more of the like microtransactions and shady shit going on, we covered that on the Retro Gaming podcast this afternoon. So.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Woohoo.
Well, here we are. October has come and gone. let's see, the first game we're going to talk about is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. A game I was heavily... What about your Game Informer?
You watching my stream?
Alright, so Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out, and I was heavily hyped for this, especially with how much I enjoyed Assassin's Creed Origin. I believe at the end of 2017, I had it in my top 10. Let me see here.
I think it was.
Yes,
yeah.
it made the number 10 spot in my top 10 games of 2017. So I love Assassin's Creed. I have almost every game. The only like mainline ones I didn't get was Unity because it was broken, and Syndicate was boring.
Dude, Unity is my favorite Assassin's Creed game.
Well, you're dumb.
That game is so much fun. I love the story. I love the character. I love that game.
It was a broken disaster. So and how I play a lot of these modern games is every Friday I go to a video game place, and I bring my VR and let a bunch of people play it, all the games I got on my PS4, and because I have a bunch of VR games, and what they allow me to do then is play the newest and greatest releases for hours, right? Well, I did a little preview on some podcast episode that we've done previously where I was very hyped for Odyssey, and as it turns out, the game, I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
Hate that game. This man hated Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I really liked it. I thought it was awesome. I know a lot of my friends really liked it too. I don't understand why you were... I mean, I do, but like... I like this AC game, man. I think it's good.
So what I was most critical in Origins was at times, especially in the later game, it got real grind festy. The side quests didn't do much for me, but I'm not, a side quest kind of guy. I usually don't care about that stuff. I don't gravitate toward it. I just like playing the story. Maybe fuck around a bit in the world that they've put in front of me, and that's about it. I'm pretty good in that aspect. I'm very simple.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, makes sense.
What Odyssey does is the story sets up much better than Origins. So I was like, okay, great, fantastic. We've already fixed that problem that was in Origins.
Right.
And then as soon as you get out of that introduction phase, that's when you're just hit with, you already feel underleveled. The weapon and armor system is like 1,000 times more detailed than Origins, which can be good for some people. They're definitely... Assassin's Creed as a franchise is gravitating more towards the RPG side, which is fine. I love RPG games. I'm okay with that. I'm not so stingy that I can't think of a new direction as a good thing, right? Yeah. In the long run, it will keep the franchise alive. And again, like I said, I loved Origins. Well, being that it gets so grindy that it takes the fun out of it. Right. Think of a big problem a lot of people had with Destiny, where it doesn't feel like you're progressing. You're just pumping bullets into the same enemy until it finally dies.
Yeah.
There's not much to that in Odyssey other than I'm slashing a sword at an enemy until it dies. And it's just so long. It drags and drags and drags. And the enemy scaling, as a fan here, Asuka, says in the chat, it's too slow on the enemy scaling. You level way too slow, and that's the huge issue. That's the grinding. That's the grind fest. And what Ubisoft did, and they've fixed it a little bit post-launch, because they knew they thought they could get away with it, kind of deal, or what could they get away with was booster packs. You can XP yourself to higher levels, right. But that only works for so long. And then you have to do it again. And
right.
I kept trying to not have to use those booster packs. Because then what you're telling me is $60 isn't going to get me a full game. It's going to get me this game up until I have to spend an extra $10 for another pack, and then I can start playing the game again.
Right.
So there's that. Post-launch, they also implemented an in-game currency system that you can acquire to buy items at the Ubisoft store. So whether you want your flaming swords or not, or what have you, your unicorn swords, or you want to look like a unicorn, it's fine. That's okay. That's a big grind as well. That's no different.
Yeah.
Now you're earning 2 currency systems. A lot of things just stack on each other. It doesn't work with me.
Yeah.
And that's why I hated the game. The RPG elements, you know, they're coming, they're fine. The world is vast and beautiful, just like Origins. You know, I expected that delivered. That, you know, good stuff there. But the enemy scaling and the grind fest just was game breaking to me. So, Drew.
Yeah.
What did your friends like about Assassin's Creed Odyssey?
First, Zach Man in the chat. No, I would not. Second, they like the open world. The gameplay is super good. The open world is huge. It's beautiful. I think the game is super fun. I don't really have a problem with very many grindy features in games. I've never had that issue. So I was fine with it. But it was just as an open world and as a story and I just loved it. You know?
Okay. All right, let me go into a little bit more detail then on the story. So, this game, because of the grind fest, it forces you to do these side quests. 100% forces you to do it, because that's how you get XP. They even have a dedicated, like, arena so you can grind XP. Just one thing that didn't need to be there, right?
I mean, it's kind of cool, though.
But it's the sole purpose of this arena is so you can grind XP. So you can then progress into the game. So you just, oh, I'm underleveled. Well, I have to go to this one thing, otherwise I can't progress anymore. So then your other choice then is to do side quests. It's either the arena or the side quests. And to me, the side quests in Odyssey are such a waste of time. You are an errand bitch.
Dude,
for every single one of them.
Side missions have always been miserable.
Okay, so sometimes in Origins, they would crop up where, hey, go assassinate this guy, go investigate this, and then you end up killing, like, a crocodile, or you would come and unlock something else in the world. What I came across in Odyssey was 9 times out of 10, go fetch this item and bring it back.
Right.
It was scaled up to an extent where it wasn't acceptable anymore.
Yeah.
Then I had no interest in doing any side quests from that point on. Well, now what's my only option? Go to the arena. And it was just a rinse and repeat. Go do a mission, do some story. You have the dialogue tree. We've seen that before in many RPGs. That's, you know, fine. They're not as static as Origin, so they improved on that. So,
yeah. All in all, I've never really enjoyed side missions on Assassin's Creed at all anyway. I just enjoy the open world. And just kind of running around and playing the story. So I've never really been in any RPG. I've never been a side mission person at all. You know. So.
Well, this is definitely something that forces you to do them.
Yeah.
So if you don't like them, the game pretty much breaks for you.
Yeah.
So I think people that are really high on the franchise and love these kind of time-wasting elements, 'cause let's face it, that's what they are. They're there implemented into the game to get you to spend money.
Yeah.
Whether you do it or not is up to you, but it is still a predatory tactic, which is not fine. And to me, in my gaming experience, it ruined it. It really did. So I think my theory is, because it's Ubisoft, and we've seen this time and time again, a year or two later from now, it will be a more fixed game. More stuff will be added, implemented into the game for you to further enjoy it, and it will be at a much cheaper price. So then those microtransactions that are in the game will somehow, you know, make up for it.
Right.
So that's my feelings on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I did not buy the game. I did not enjoy it.
To a certain extent, I just really, really enjoyed the game.
Well, let's get on to Super Mario Party.
Oh,
Nintendo
boy.
Switch.
This franchise, in my opinion, can I start this one?
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it. Say everything.
In my opinion, the Super Mario, the Mario Party franchise has just been going downhill for a very long time. It's just went out because now you're on a. I'm so confused what the direction was because now it's more RNG than ever. You know, you're all on a car together. Like, I don't even know how to describe this game. It's just a board game. It's
Super Mario
literally
Party's
the
not on a
equivalent
car
of playing
anymore.
a board. It's not on a car?
No.
I was watching footage. Is this one not on a car anymore?
No.
Fuck. This one's super RNG though, isn't it?
What does Super RNG mean?
Random number generator.
What?
Completely randomized. There's not really a skill gap that comes to this anymore.
No, there's some strategy to it.
But it's not as much as there used to be, correct?
Oh, I don't know what you mean by that.
I don't know. I've been playing Mario Party for a long time. I haven't played this one yet, I will admit. I've just watched some reviews on it. But my favorite one, kid you not, was Mario Party DS.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the maps were fun. I thought the strategy was fun. I thought it was random enough, but it wasn't too random, you know? I thought it was just a lot of, except for the Bowser things, those were annoying. But Mario Party is just supposed to be a dumb party game, you know? Gets better when you're under the influence.
Well, everything's better with that, especially party games.
Sure.
So I've pretty much I have and played pretty much every Mario Party up to this point, and my first impression of Super Mario Party, because what I wanted out of this was, you know, kind of a reason to buy Switch Online. I was really hoping for the whole party mode aspect, the board games to be online so I can play with friends who live, you know, states or countries away. And you can set games to run shorter or whatnot. You know, you can easily implement like a save feature and you and your friends come back to it later. You know, something. Yeah. They didn't do any of that. What ended up happening was you get 4 boards again. 2 of them are standard, go around the board and get your stars, collect coins. You know, that's part of the course. Yeah. 2 other boards are what's being called kind of a free roaming, which is kind of interesting. It definitely has a lot more strategy to it. So what I mean by this is you roll the die, you know, let's say you get a 5, you can go 5 spaces. Well, you can go anywhere on the board that's 5 spaces. There's no set path, which is pretty cool. Right. That's really neat. I like that. I'm really wondering why we're only still getting 4 boards at this point with these Mario Party games. That's really odd to me. So the one neat thing that Super Mario Party also does is with the number of characters you get. I like all those. They each come with their own special dice block. So like Bowser will have 2 rolls that you'll lose 3 coins possible. Then you'll have like 3 2s and then a 10 that you could possibly roll. There's kind of there's a risk reward system with each character, with each dice block they have. Pretty cool. You can collect allies along boards that can add to your roll, and you can get their dice blocks. So there's some strategy there. The items in the game are kind of limited compared to older ones. So I didn't really care for that. Just a lot of items that get you to roll more. A lot of mushrooms, you know, extra 3 to your dice roll, extra 5 here. The item that comes in handy the most in this game is the warp pipe, and it's kind of broken. So what this does is it warps you directly next to the star, so you get one right away. So there's like a half strategy involved with the board and always getting this warp pipe. So you get your 4 boards, and there's a shit ton of other content outside of the 4 board games this time around. You didn't really have in past games. It's a lot of kind of fuck around modes. You can go and test out all the mini games. There's the online mini games aren't even worth mentioning. That's kind of odd. There's the single player mode I never got to, because in order to unlock the single player in Super Mario Party, you have to have played every single mini game that there is in the game, and there's a lot. That takes time. What else? Looks good, plays fine. It's a lot of fun. I think it's one of the... My initial impression was kind of low because of what I expected out of it, especially since 2018 and Switch Online being a thing.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think it's better than Mario Party 9, and that's the one that people hate.
Party 9 really shit on by most of the community. So
Yeah.
was 8.
I liked 8. I was on the Wii. It was fine.
Like 8?
Yeah, it was fine. It was 9 that was really bad. That was the one in the car. 10 had Bowser Party. That was the mode to play.
Yeah.
So there's that. So the downsides is there's still only 4 boards. There's no online play, and kind of limited on the items. But the characters, the dice blocks, and the free roam boards is those are the high points. So it's a couch multiplayer Mario Party game. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna have the motion control mini games work fine. They're really good at times. There are a couple mini games that are stinkers, but
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it happens.
There's always some.
Yeah, there's always gonna be something like that. Alrighty. Thoughts on Mario Party? Let's see.
Mario Party pretty simple.
Let's talk Mega Man 11.
We're skipping that game?
Well, we're not gonna skip any games. I just don't want to. I don't want to talk myself right now. So I've been talking a lot. Mega Man 11. You've definitely seen a lot of Mega Man 11. And by the way, Capcom actually sent me a copy of the game, so hooray!
What? Really?
Yeah.
Free?
Yeah. I even got a signed poster by the director.
From Capcom? Why?
I won a contest for the poster, and then they just sent me the game.
Oh, hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, I, in all honesty, do not know much about Mega Man 11.
Oh. Sounds like you didn't get a free copy.
I did not get a free copy. In fact, I don't have any copies of it.
Capcom really wanted people to like this game.
To be completely honest, all I've really played the last month is Call of Duty and some Halo. I need to pick up Red Dead.
We'll get to Red Dead for sure.
Yeah.
Alright, well, Mega Man 11, if you've played any of the original Mega Man games, it's like that. It has a more cartoony style to it. Some people didn't like that. More diehard Mega Man fans were like really getting picky on a lot of small aspects of the game. And that comes down to there was one that came down to when you go into a boss arena and Mega Man hits it, he'll freeze in the air and the screen will shift over, right? And then it'll show the boss. Well, in this, it's all just real time. He just jumps in, jumps down. So it's like...
Oh, dude, I loved that, though. There's so many little things in Mega Man like that I loved.
Well, the little thing in Mega Man that may not be a little thing that I loved, that wasn't in this game, was the music. I thought the music in the game and sound effects were very bland, average, and just boring.
That's a big part of Mega Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can just like pick a title in any Mega Man game, and you just like, the music. Never got that feeling at all in this entire game, so I was very disappointed in that.
Oh, that's no fun, man.
Yeah, but the rest of the game, was rock solid. Whether it was the let's see. You have what they call the gear system in the game, which allows you to slow down time, and then you have the power-up gear, which allows you to have a booster to your weapon attacks, which comes in handy. I will admit I didn't use them as much as I should have, so I unintentionally made the game harder on myself by not using them.
Right.
Because
I did the same when I played Spider-Man. I never used any of the suit mods, and that made it way harder.
Well, you just don't think of it because you think, oh, well,
Yeah.
I've played so many Mega Man games now. I don't think about using this gear system at all, not instinctually. It wasn't until the end of the game, like, maybe I should use this thing. I was trying to actually think about using it, and holy crap, it made the boss battles like 1,000 times easier. I think everything except Torchman stage was a lot of fun. Everything felt extremely unique to each other. Design, like, layout wise. Enemy wise, I saw a lot of repeat enemies on stages that just didn't belong.
Right.
I thought that was really strange. Why I don't know.
I want to get this game now. I really want to get this game.
Mega Man 11.
I love Mega Man. Yeah. New Mega Man game, dude. That's awesome.
No, it's definitely worth getting it. You know, they had it at a discounted price. It takes about 4 or 5 hours to complete one time through, and there's definitely replay value there because of how much fun it is. But it isn't this like 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 greatest Mega Man game ever by any means. It's not that. It doesn't have. It's missing too many things to set it apart from older Mega Man games. That's kind of what I'm going with this.
Yeah.
But the gear system was super fun. I really liked Blast Man stage. I really liked Bounce Man stage, despite what Kevin on the Retrocast would say. He just couldn't figure out the jumping mechanic to the Bounce Man stage, which is really funny. And to be honest, I was frustrated too because I couldn't figure it out either. I thought it was a timing mechanism that you had to do with the bouncy balls. But instead, you just hold down the jump button, which is counterintuitive. And that'll increase your jump height. Oh. Scratching my head. Okay, now I got it. And then I just
platformer. Never mind.
So Mega Man 11, super fun. It does have its design downfalls, but it's not game breaking by any means. That's at the end of the day what this is about. So it's pretty neat. What was the last Mega Man game you played?
Last Mega Man I played that was like, as far as I was playing a new Mega Man game, or the last time I played it?
Last time you played a Mega Man game, which one was it?
I played Mega Man 2. I played Mega Man 2 like probably like once a year.
Yeah, that's the one I have on the NES. That was the one game I had. And there's what, 6 of them?
I played Mega Man 2 on the NES for the first time too. Like, that's just
So, Mega Man 11, definitely go get it if you're a Mega Man fan. You're not going to be disappointed.
I'll probably be streaming that game in the coming weeks.
PlayStation Classic, hearing a lot of bad things about it. Yeah, people are bitching about the game library it's coming out for it.
Yeah.
You know what? We can actually get into that after talk about the next game. I wouldn't mind going down the list of the PlayStation Classic because we did talk about this on the previous episode.
Totally could.
All right, so the next game's Forza Horizon 4.
We should do Starlink next.
You want to do Starlink next?
I have no idea what this game is.
All right, we can do Starlink next. So Starlink.
I want to hear what Starlink is.
Starlink is a Toys to Life game with spaceships.
I get it. Was this one they announced on the for the Switch, at E3?
With Star Fox involved for the Nintendo one.
Yeah, that you like connect your Lego ships or whatever to the front of your Switch and then you fly them around.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
Cool concept, boring ass game.
Yeah, that's what I expected. All right.
It is incredibly simplistic. There's no rhyme or reason really to anything. The Nintendo Switch version with Star Fox is it's better only because there's a little bit of Star Fox in it. They added a little bit of story to there, but at the end of the day, it was just you have your ship that you bought, and you can get ship upgrades in the game, but you're limited to what you had bought with your toy, right? And each mission is just go to the planet, use the ship, shoot the thing, go back to the ship, get a new mission, do it all over again. The difference with the Star Fox one is you might get little Star Fox cutscene in between there. That's it. That's the whole game. I got bored of it really fast. It is definitely a game for children that want a more simplistic game.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be completely honest. You cut out that entire time.
That's fine.
I heard nothing of what you said.
That's fine. You got it. All right. So let's yeah. That's
next. Forza's next.
Well, we got the PlayStation
Forza
Classic library actually as kind of a halfway point.
Go for it. Start listing them.
Okay, so full lineup of 20 games. We can just like make this a little short topic here.
Yeah, just shoot it.
Yeah.
I didn't even play it on the PlayStation 1 ever, so I have no idea, and I really don't care.
Well, see, I have most of these games. That's the thing. Battle Arena Toshinden, fine. Cool Borders 2, love it. Destruction Derby, fine. Final Fantasy 7, there's your big title. Grand Theft Auto, the first one. So, okay. We covered it on the cast, on the Retrocast. It made me sick because of the camera. So maybe they'll fix it. Intelligent Cube, great game to have on there. Jumping Flash, a kind of one-of-a-kind first-person perspective game, way ahead of its time. Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller. Mr. Driller is super fun. So a lot of variety to this we're already seeing. Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, hell yeah. We just covered that on the cast this afternoon, on the Retrocast. The original Rayman. So you got your side-scrolling platformer. Resident Evil Director's Cut. So fine. I mean, there's other Resident Evils out there at this point, but yeah, it was very, very good to have on there.
Yeah.
Persona, which I was surprised that was a that made
OG Persona.
The OG Persona. I personally don't like it because it's first person hallways and they all look the same. But hey, a lot of people haven't played it. And it's worth checking out. It's definitely one of those games that it's for Japan kind of deal.
Yeah.
Ridge Racer Type 4.
Also on the classic version in Japan, they're actually releasing plenty of games only for Japan.
Yeah, they replaced a couple titles, just like the NES Classic kind of deal.
Somebody in my chat is upset that they forgot Omega Boost.
Hell's Omega Boost?
I don't know.
Ridge Racer Type 4, which is arguably the best racing game on the PlayStation and the best looking. Yes, better than Gran Turismo 2. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, so there's your Mean Bean Machine kind of game. Siphon Filter, the first one. Tekken 3, that's your fighting game. The original Rainbow Six I thought was really strange to put on there.
That is a strange pick, even because I played the original Rainbow Six on Xbox, didn't play it on PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't know why Rainbow Six in particular, other than it's popular right now. I would have probably chosen Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
I don't remember if that required the analog sticks, though. I don't think so. We did cover that on the cast. No, I don't think you did. But the original Twisted Metal and Wild Arms. So they went for a lot of the original kind of first games here. And remember, Drew, on the previous cast, I said you don't want to put Medieval, Spyro, Tomb Raider, or Crash Bandicoot on there because there's remakes of all those.
Yeah.
Especially with Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and Medieval having remakes coming out now on the PS4. So to me, I was like, no, you don't need those on there. You want to get a lot of variety. You want to get some unique games that were PlayStation exclusives. So the only one I would have changed probably is the Rainbow Six with something else. That's just I'm the big PlayStation nut, and I don't see a real problem with this list. There's a lot of variety here. There's a game for everybody, at least one. And it just gives you an idea of what a lot of PlayStation was about. I'd probably, I'd probably replace Rainbow Six with Parappa the Rapper. There you go. Drew, any game that you would replace on this list for another one? Or two or three?
Dude, I didn't play on the PlayStation, man. I used Nintendo and Xbox.
Fair enough. A lot of people are upset. The price point's still kind of high to come into. It's like $100 for the 20 games when each game is like cheaper on the store or the same price, or you can just get 20 games yourself on the PlayStation Store. But you're really getting this for collectors.
Yeah.
I mean,
anyway.
Anyway, let's move on.
So the next game, Forza Horizon 4.
Yes.
The 4th installment in the Forza Horizon series. Let's be honest, guys. Forza is always a solid 9 out of 10. They don't do anything crazy. They just
not
do
this
what
one.
they do. They do it well.
This one's not a 9 out of 10.
I think this one's a 9 out of 10.
I think it's
this
a
game is
7.5, 8.
Identical to Forza Horizon 3. In all honesty, it's pretty much identical. They just switched up the location and they added the season system, and I think it's fantastic. You know, it's hard to really talk about Forza because, specifically, it's arcade, and it's another Forza game. Like I said, it's pretty much identical to Forza Horizon. You know, it's a ton of fun. It's open world. It's got fun race. It's got really pretty cars, and it's a beautiful game. And then the seasons are super fun. I think the location for this game is also super cool. 10 out of 10 for you, Zach? Yeah, no, I mean, I don't want to give a game a 10 out of 10 generally, unless I think it is expanding kind of the genre or something. But that's why I give Forza a solid 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're Forza games. They do what they do. They do it very well. So that's my take on the Forza Horizon 4.
So I actually streamed my entire experience with this game, and I played it for about I played it for like 13, 14 hours. So I played it a long time. And I love racing games. I've definitely been in that mood, and so it came at probably the perfect time for me to look at this game and enjoy it or not enjoy it. I'm saying this right now. I think it's a 7.5, 8 out of 10. Because I have played Forza Horizon 3. In a lot of ways, it's very similar, but what they tried to do differently, I think, hurt the series.
Right.
The season system, to me, was very negligible. All it did was make the environment change color, essentially. The wet roads, they didn't really affect cars as they probably should have with how you're racing. Like, you didn't hydroplane or anything, but hey, this is an arcade game, so I wasn't, like, totally upset with it. I just thought they could have done a little bit more with that, especially considering you're driving on an open road the entire game.
Right.
They probably could have had terrain come into a little bit more play. Because what ends up happening is, because you're on this singular map, and it's a big world, right? There's no fast travel system at all in the game until you either buy a house with a lot of in-game currency, and it's slow to get, Drew. It's a big grind to get this in-game currency. Like, I was able to get like 4 cars in 13 hours. Never amassed enough to buy a single house that was like or any like worth it. It wasn't worth it. As soon as I bought one high-end car, I basically used that on the open road as much as I could. And then, if I was able to use that car, I would just burn the competition. And it does this weird AI thing where you can gain currency faster if you make the conditions more difficult on yourself. So you can make the AI hard, and then you can put in, manual controls. You can tune up your car differently for certain things. The tuning I found to be very negligible as well, unless you had a more higher end car. But then again, you have that grind you have to grind to get the things to make it a true difference. And it really wasn't. The grind wasn't worth it.
Right.
So you go around race to race. You have different aspects to the race. So there's like an off-road course, and you have to use an off-road car. It forces you to have this car. Well, again, because the grind of the in-game currency system so much, you're probably not going to have enough to buy a car that's even worth changing, right?
Right.
So you're just given this car, and then that's what you have. And it goes like that. There's a open road race course, and you have to use this car, and there's about 4 or 5 different modes like that.
Right.
There's a few additives in the world, like there's stunts you can do. That was kind of fun. There's little speed points where you try to get the highest speed and get a certain star rating. You know, that's fine. There are certain things there that add to the experience, but mostly it's like you can just skip them. They're not really, they don't really add much to the game other than that kind of just split-second moment of, okay. What I really liked in the game were the, God, what were they called? Showcase events. They're called showcase events. There's only about, I think there was only about 4 of them, and then I played a 5th because it was like the monthly thing, right?
Yeah.
So the showcase events are when you get to a certain point, after completing enough of the season, you get a showcase, and you race against a specialized vehicle. So like the first one is against this giant like hovercraft thing, and you're racing against it, and there's cool like cinematic events. That was really cool. Then there was the second one was, I think you're racing against a big fucking train. That was cool. You face against a lot of motorcycle riders that are spewing out like colored smoke behind them. That was actually in the trailer. I remember that from E3. I even faced the Halo like spaceship in the special event.
The Pelican?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but it was a big like Halo themed course, and there was a bunch of Halo ships, and I was actually I think it was the Warthog, or is that what it's called?
The Warthog.
The Warthog, yeah, that's what I was. That was that's what I was racing. So, the showcases were definitely my favorite part of the game, but they came few and far between with the hours. I wish there was a lot more of those. I wish that's kind of what I was racing towards. There were 6 of them. Okay, I thought there was thought there was 4 and then a 5th. Well, maybe there's 6 now. Well, another month has passed. The not having a fast travel system was kind of irritating. It was just inconvenient. That's what it felt like, because I was the terrain of the map doesn't change drastically enough to really notice. It felt like after a certain amount of time, I would say about 2 hours, I felt like I was racing the same race over and over and over and over again, just with a different car that the game forced me to have.
Right.
Okay. Which isn't good for a game that
you want to have lots of variety.
You're supposed to have this variety, and it just didn't feel like any variety was there at all. That's why this gets in Forza Horizon 3. I felt like the variety was there.
Yeah.
I felt like the cars felt unique to each other. The drivetrains and traction felt different with each car. It required a different skill. And the last but not least thing I want to say about this game is I never felt like I needed to race for first place. Ever.
Right.
Yeah. That's what kind of racing game doesn't give a shit if you get first place or not?
I don't know. That just kind of breaks the game to an extent.
Yeah, like I got 6th place in races, and I go, okay, I got 6th, whatever. I gained some experience and I moved on.
Yeah.
Well, you remember me, I was playing Gran Turismo Sport or whatever. I was determined to at least place in the top 3 every time, because then I couldn't progress in the game. That's the point of racing games.
Mario Kart, you know.
Yeah, that Mario Kart forces you to place.
Yeah. If you don't place, you don't get anything, you know.
Yeah, the only incentive to place at a higher position in races is that little extra experience. But it's, again, this is the theme. This is the word theme of Forza Horizon 4. It's so negligible that it's not worth your time to just do it again. Just go do another race.
Pretty much. It's not that expansive.
No, and it definitely has that live service game element to it, so more content will come out all the time. I'm sure there will be more courses or a new map in time, but you know, from my experience in this initial release, no, this isn't a bad game. I'm not saying it's a bad game at all. I think it's just underwhelming.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's Forza Horizon 4. I mean, if you want to go see me suck at it, because I didn't have any incentive in driving better, and you can go check out the YouTube page where I live streamed it.
Yeah, man. I tried streaming on YouTube, then got copyright striked, and I don't use YouTube anymore.
Oh yeah, that if you stream that game, there's certain songs that'll come up, so you might as well turn the music off. That'll get you blocked worldwide. So that was funny. Luckily, I just re-uploaded the video with that like section just muted. So then, because I don't get any money from YouTube, I don't care. I don't care enough.
It's so stupid that YouTube actually doesn't even let you do that. Well, every other streaming service, you can listen to whatever you want.
Right.
You know?
Alrighty. So what's our next game? Discuss that.
Red Dead?
Yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2. This big fucker.
I want to point out, again, I haven't really gotten into this one. I'm picking it up here soon. I didn't have the money to pick it up at the time. I will be streaming this game quite a bit. And then when the online releases, I'll be playing a ton of that. And the rumor is they're releasing a battle royale with it also. It'll totally be
God. Yeah, it's becoming GTA Online. Well, we probably saw that coming.
Oh, yeah. They make so much money off of it. Why would they not?
Yeah.
And then the battle royale, if they do a battle royale for it, I'll probably be playing a ton of that too. So, which sounds super cool, actually. Like, I just really hope they fix up the controls a little bit.
With Red Dead Redemption 2?
Yeah. Stuff is like tapping A to sprint. Like, that's just not a good control. Like,
well, so Red Dead Redemption 2, it's the sequel, but it takes place before Red Dead Redemption. I'm not sure where it takes place in Red Dead Revolver. I'm sure it's before that game as well. Sets up a grand caravan group of characters, and you're all bandits.
Gang.
You want to call it a gang? No, it's a caravan.
Gang.
That's the word. That's the word lately.
Caravan. Gang.
Yeah. Okay, it's a prequel. It is a prequel to it.
Please,
yeah. So I was right. I was right.
Not spoil at all.
Well, I purposely only played about 4 hours. Okay. So I got
at the end of the snow level then.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I got past a good crux of the introduction and everything, and got to experience a bit of the open world, got to the first town and everything, established the camp, who all the characters are, and that right there, from what I just said, should tell you how story-ridden and character-based this game is. Now,
yeah, man.
I did just kind of for my own curiosity look up like how the second half of the game is, because Rockstar is notorious for the second half of their story-ridden games. Let's take GTA games. They're always kind of shoot 'em up shooting galleries where you're just pumping down enemies over and over and over again for every mission. And Red Dead Redemption 2 does suffer from that as well. That's why it's like not a 10 out of 10, but it's still a 9 out of 10 kind of deal. So that, you know, I was kind of hoping Rockstar would kind of divert away from the shooting gallery thing for that second half of the game, but hey, that's okay.
That's just
yeah. I mean, it's okay.
Hard to talk about Red Dead. Yeah, we might revisit Red Dead when we've both kind of gotten really into it, because it's a huge game. So I could see us maybe revisiting the game in a later podcast episode.
Well, that's for Game of the Year cast, is it not?
Yeah, when we're talking about those, but maybe a more in-depth review. Like at the end of like the next podcast episode, we do like a spoiler review or something.
Well, I don't have the game yet, Drew. I'm getting it on like a Black Friday. I'm hoping,
Same.
Yeah. So but it's an incredibly detailed world. And you know what? I spoke about a game that's too detailed and animated for its own good on the Retrocast. It was actually a
Right.
it was Cold Shadow. It was a Donald Duck as a ninja game. Really weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was super animated, including movement left to right, and you kind of had to wait for the animation to finish. It was jarring at times. Well, in Red Dead Redemption 2, just from a detail and attention standpoint, everything's so animated, it's almost to a fault.
Right.
You know, like, let's take Assassin's Creed. When you run over something, you just click a button, you pick up the item, it's in your thing. In Red Dead Redemption 2, you go over to the body, the guy has to crouch down, then he rummages around in his pants a little bit, then he stands up, then it shows him animating, putting it in his pocket or something. If you're into that, it's fine. It's just kind of, you know, it just kind of goes, all right, gotta go over here, do this thing.
I mean, I hope they change it up a little bit when it comes to online, but for a story, I think having hyper immersive worlds is okay.
Yeah, it's not totally, it's not a bad thing by any means. It just adds a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure it just needed to be there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get that.
Let's see. The snow level takes a long time to get through. That's like the big introduction, but it is a 50-hour story game.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. So like, there's a whole South Park episode dedicated to joking about everyone playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and the guy has to start over the game. No, don't go back to the snow level. It takes forever.
Pretty much.
Which I will have to do when I get it.
We'll definitely go into Red Dead at a later date, a lot more in depth, and probably do a spoiler review. So
yeah, the spoiler review on more of the story stuff. This is just kind of our first impressions over it, more or less. And is it a good game? Yes, it's a good game. Yeah, it's absolutely a good game. It's already in the game of the year conversation for me.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, same.
Yeah, like you just when you play a game that this good, you just know where it's gonna stand.
Yeah, you know, there's experiences you play that and you're like, oh, this is one of those, you know, and it's up there.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'm not being
last game.
Yeah, it's Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah. God, it's just so extensive, lots of detail in the environments. The horse thing does bother me a little bit. And I'm not sure if that's really needed. The horse thing was kind of bugging me almost immediately with
which horse thing?
So everything to do with the horse, where you have to groom it and it has to like you, it'll kick the shit out of you. It has its own personality.
It's a bit much.
It really, like, that really stood out to me as going, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like this.
Yeah, there was a lot that had to.
I would whistle to the horse and it just wouldn't come a couple times. I'm like, what's your problem? If I don't specifically hook it up to the little whatever they're called, you gotta hook your horse up, it'll just wander away like an animal. I'm like, come on, it's a video game. I don't want to go having to search for my damn horse every time.
In online, it's gonna be so obnoxious.
Yeah, it's there's just, because there's so much detail, you then notice a lot of these things that become obnoxious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, but the characters are fucking fantastic. Everyone has their own personality.
Awesome. I love them. They're all interesting. They're all well written, well animated, well acted. It's fantastic.
Let's see. When you we got a comment here. When you use your gun, it'll switch to another gun you don't want. Oh,
that's too bad.
Well, that's too bad. Yeah.
That is too bad.
All right. So our last game is something that I'm sure you want to get into a lot of detail about, which is Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so like we should probably take, because there's multiple game modes, you know, so we should probably take them one at a time.
All right. Well, how about I just ask the questions then, and you can answer, because I'm curious
you want to start with the story, zombies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be a lot more quiet on this one. This is definitely your bread and butter, Drew. I've spoken about on Nausea on past podcasts and my initial impressions. I'm not the first person shooter guy. I do think mechanically this is probably the best Call of Duty game I've played, but I do have a lot of faults with it, and that has more to do with Activision.
Yeah, Activision sucks, man.
So my first question is, what do you think about the implemented post-launch microtransactions?
Oh god, it's so bad right now. It's so terrible. I really wish they would just give me a normal supply drop system just so I can unlock the shit. Because right now it's like anything I want to unlock, I have to wait forever to get or spend absurd amounts just to try and level up. Because right now it's not based on experience or points or credit. It's literally just game time. It's like 50 minutes of game time to rank up once. And that is so terrible. Granted, all the cosmetics are kind of shitty in this game, or not really cheap, but they just don't really matter that much. There's so much superfluous stuff that it's like, they're
Hmm.
trying to copy the battle pass system from Fortnite, and it's just not good. I wish they would, if they're going to do
Yeah,
do the
they're
supply drop
exactly
system
doing
like
that.
they've had the last couple of years. It works because they have the supply drop system, they have the collection system, and then they have the crafting system. So yeah, you have supply drops, but you can also go on certain quests to try and unlock what you want to unlock.
Hmm.
And it's so much simpler. Surface level, as far as this game goes, the UI is garbage.
Yes,
It is
that was
so
very
terrible.
irritating when I was playing it as well.
It is so terrible. They started doing this thing, starting with last year with World War II, where they're like, hey, let's switch up the UI that's great that we've had for the last decade. And they have this terrible tab system in World War II. And everybody's like, this is terrible. And then Black Ops 4 comes out, and they're doing the cursor thing from Destiny and everything. You have to go into like 2 menus to get it's so fucking terrible, and I hate it very much. It is very, very, very bad. Terrible UI. The story of the game, the Specialists HQ, kind of the campaign, effectively, is really interesting. I was really happy with it, actually. Gameplay wise, it got a little tedious, but story wise, I mean, the cutscenes are always going to be amazing because Call of Duty is. They got the budget to make really pretty cutscenes. I thought the storyline was really interesting, and it was almost it's what I really want from Overwatch. I really want something where they kind of weave the heroes and the specialists and stuff in storyline with good cutscenes and interesting story. There's not much to say about the story because it's just kind of a story, There's
Hmm.
not too much to it. It isn't super fleshed out like a big campaign would be, but it was interesting. Um, Zombies this year is the production value is through the roof. They've went all out on this game on the zombies more than I think they ever have. Graphics are amazing. The maps are crazy and big and interesting. Gameplay wise, they're super Easter eggy and fun. I don't like what they did to the perk system.
Okay,
They
go into
they
that then.
stripped perks like because zombies always had a classic gameplay loop. They've had here's Juggernog, extra health, here's Speed Cola, extra speed, and they have the little jingles and you drink the soda and it was always fun. This now they have it like a loadout system. You have a soda perk, a cola perk, a daiquiri. Do you have a daiquiri perk? You have like 4 different beverage perks, and everything has kind of different stuff. And they don't do the jingles anymore, and you have to set up like a loadout. Juggernog isn't there anymore. Everybody has 200 health by default. Which
Hmm.
and by the way, this game is very hard as far as zombies goes. The zombies maps are extremely hard compared to other years. They did all kinds of stuff with zombies, and they mixed it up. And I get what they're doing with it, but I think zombies is really popular because it's always been a cult classic mode that is very, very formulaic, but has a lot of depth as far as exploring and Easter eggs go. And I liked it that way, so I was kind of sad to see it all changed. Honestly, those changes have kind of turned me off to zombies because it's just not the mode that I've really because I've never been a primary zombies player, but I've always really enjoyed it, and it's always been formulaic, and it's as crazy and in depth as I wanted it to be. And now it's just all just there. So not a huge fan of that. But it's still a really good class. Blackout, the battle royale mode is fantastic. I love it. It's just a version of PUBG that we all wanted. It's completed. It isn't buggy. It's super smooth. It controls fantastic. The hit scan projectile thing is well done. It's pretty balanced. It all kinds of classic COD maps all shoved into one giant map. It just plays fantastic. It's just a battle royale game mode. There's nothing really crazy about it or new about it. It's just your first person military battle royale that works and isn't. And so I really enjoy that.
Okay.
There's going to be. I'm really curious to see kind of how they expand because this game, first of all, Black Ops 4, they've said is a 3-year game. It's going to be supported for 3 years with DLC. and updates and
Live
everything.
service
And I'm
model.
really
Yeah.
curious. Yeah, I'm curious to see how they combat Fortnite, because they've said that's kind of their target. You know, so as far as the battle
They're not
royale goes,
innovative enough to combat with Fortnite.
no, I don't think they are. But what they have to do to combat Fortnite is they have to keep battle royale continuously updated. You know, Fortnite every single week has a huge update where they add weapons, they take away stuff, they add new areas in the map, they new features. The map's always evolving. Every week the map evolves some way.
Right.
So far, they've started one event because they have missions you can do to, and you find items like a teddy bear, and then it'll have like a mission you do to unlock characters, and it's kind of all right. It's not really as they need more characters to be. They haven't really introduced any characters that people really, really, really want to get. You know, so far they've added an event with the Blight Father, who's a zombies boss who appears at the graveyard, who you can fight, and he drops a ton of loot and stuff. And it's kind of interesting because they have implemented zombies into the game. They're just kind of around in certain zombie map locations, and you fight them. And it's kind of, I think it's done well. And then they've been adding the Blight Father, which is the boss, one of those zombies bosses. So that's been an interesting addition. But I'm just curious to see, like, there's some spots on the map where it looks like, you know, they could add stuff, they could change stuff. There's weird noises and Easter egg noises that are appearing. So I'm wondering if they're going to try and do the Fortnite, you know, story of the map evolution type of thing. But a lot of people think they might add Carrier from Black Ops 2 or Hijack from Black Ops 2 into the water and all kinds of stuff. But Blackout is fun and interesting. It's just a battle royale, and we're just kind of to see how it evolves. And that's what will really kind of tell us if that mode is a very good mode or not. But when it comes to multiplayer...
Yeah, because... So the Blackout mode for me was... like a better PUBG. It wasn't broken kind of deal.
Yeah. But also the
which Xbox announced during their little XO18 that PUBG is coming to Game Pass, so you know, whatever to that. Zombies is a horde mode. As I said, not for me.
I think Zombies is way more than a horde mode, in all honesty. I kind of miss it when it was just a standard horde mode that like you could do whatever you want with, but I think Zombies is much more of a fleshed out game mode now. Because especially with this one, it's not just survive the horde. You're doing quests, you're doing side missions, you're doing so much in the Zombies game mode.
Just play Resident Evil then.
Yeah, but and that's just what Zombies is.
Yeah. So what about then the multiplayer? Because I had a hard time getting into it as a new player.
Multiplayer this year, I think, and here's something I need to point out. Blackout is the primary target for Activision this year, if anybody didn't know that.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious, yeah.
And it's definitely felt. The funny thing about multiplayer features that were in Blackout, and they just threw in multiplayer. Like the manual healing, I think they threw that in there because of Blackout. They were like, hey, we manual heal in Blackout, throw that in multiplayer. I think they tried to unionize everything. There is so much to multiplayer this year that is just, it is a lot. I'll start attachment-wise. The guns don't have the same attachments anymore. You know, when with your ARs, how you've kind of had it in other years, you had, okay, you unlock quick draw, gripped, stock. You know, every gun has their set of attachments. You can mix and match the gun. Now every gun has different sets of attachments, and now there's different levels of attachments. So you can have like a stock 1 and 2 or a grip 1 and 2, which causes all kinds of crazy shit. So it comes down to the point where, you know, certain guns are prioritized over others just because they have certain attachments. And I think that kind of ruins the gameplay. I think it overcomplicates and ruins a bit of the fun of the game, in my opinion. You have stuff like grip 2 taking away flinch on certain guns. So certain guns have no flinch and no recoil. So in certain situations, those are better than other guns because this gun is now missing a key component of multiplayer that this gun now has. And I think that stuff's kind of annoying. I think the maps are okay. I think the fact that they've now brought casual multiplayer from 6v6, they've toned it down to 5v5. And then they also made competitive 5v5 in order to try and make everything kind of more similar. And I think that is terrible. Pubs 5v5, I don't care. Competitive 5v5, I think is terrible because you just see people flood bomb sites. I played a 5v5 tournament like an hour and a half ago. And it was just like, okay, guys, 5-man flood B bomb site. And it's like everybody runs in there and just guns each other. You know, I think that was a shitty decision.
But from a competitive aspect, it seems like it's a major step down.
So the competitive aspect is, this game was supposed to be so good. Also, I want to point out this game has specialists again, so it's like hero shooter aspect. When it comes to competitive,
oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
This shit comes in. They're pretty good about banning. Hey, this stuff's stupid. Let's ban this in competitive.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they announced the CWL variant, and they pretty much banned none of the dumb shit. So you have pro players running around dropping barbed wire, using tactical insertions, using big-ass grenade launchers. And it is honestly a joke. I'm watching clips of pro teams going into certain areas, and the other team throws barbed wire down and shields down, and you can't move. There's a character who pulls out a riot shield who has a machine gun mounted inside of it. He can move around. You can't hit him. Like, there's grappling hooks. There's ground pounds. The competitive, viability of this game is out the window. I don't think it's competitive. I don't think it should be considered an esport.
Oh, wow.
We don't have 60 hertz servers in private match. There's no dedicated servers in private match. I think calling Call of Duty an esport at this point is kind of a joke, because it's kind of an embarrassment as far as a competitive game would go.
So it seems to me that Activision did a lot to cash grab this rather than improve.
What they did is the initiative Blackout is what matters here. They don't care about COD. They just wanted Blackout, and I'm okay with that. Blackout is fantastic. I really have a ton of fun. I've been streaming a ton of it. Multiplayer, they tried to unionize competitive and casual, so everything kind of blends together. So casuals have more fun watching competitive because it's the same game that they play. Because in other years, it's like, hey, all this stuff's not allowed. It's 4v4. It's a different game, and casuals wouldn't watch it because it was a different game. And this year, they tried to unionize all that.
I see.
And I was hoping they would, like most games, the casual side would become more balanced and less random, and I would have a lot more fun with that. Instead, they decided to drag all the random bullshit, non-competitive stuff from casual into competitive, making it not really that.
Okay.
I'm at the point when you throw certain things out the window in your game, I don't think it should be considered competitive. If you don't have 60 hertz servers or dedicated match in your competitive tournaments and stuff, it shouldn't be. It's not esport. It's a joke. It's just a wannabe. If you're having complete random stuff that depends on randomness in your competitive mode, then it's not really competitive, is it? It's just random. It's just a joke. I mean, that's not to say it's not it's because it's a shooter. The goal is to win. There's still a competitive side of it, but I think calling it a serious esport is a joke, and I think it's stupid. It's fun. It's Call of Duty. It plays well. There's score streaks. You run around. It's a fun game. The maps are all right. It's fun. I just think they threw out a lot of what they could have done with it. It lost a lot of potential. Treyarch makes good games. They're shiny. The maps are colorful and fun. The guns are entertaining enough. I think the attachment system is really obnoxious. They have predictive recoil now, kind of like CS. So you know how every gun is going to kick, and if once you master that, you've kind of mastered the gun. Something they did that's kind of annoying. They changed hitboxes this year. While kind of your middle mass body has always been, this amount of damage. They changed it so damage multipliers happen like if you hit somebody's arm. So like if you're shooting center mass from the side, you're going to do less damage. That's kind of obnoxious. They implemented manual healing, and everybody has 150 health now. So everybody's a bullet sponge, which is annoying. Like a submachine gun at medium range can take like 9 shots to kill
that I noticed. That I immediately noticed because I cracked when I was playing, I did end up cracking someone in the head like 3 times with, I forget which gun it was, but they just took it.
Yeah, like you really have to track these people and finish the kill. In other years, while 3-shot, 4-shot, 5-shot guns were kind of the thing. 5-shot was your long range on weak guns, but it was generally 3-4. It was a fast time to kill. That was what COD's been. Now it's 150 health, so it's a little more bullets to kill. And there's manual healing. And the big issue with manual healing now is that they've implemented this item called the stim shot, which makes it so you can heal. I think it's like 3 seconds on the recharge. And it heals your health really to the point where I had this happen we were playing a free-for-all before the tournament. I did that, and I knew it pissed my teammate off, and I knew it was going to do it. But he shoots me in the back. I hit a corner stim shot, immediately reach challenge. I'm already at full health instantly.
That's pretty game breaking.
So
That's what it sounds like.
it's pretty game breaking. So it's so many little things like these that they've just.
Yeah, it adds
I'm okay
up.
with innovation, but as far as esports go, you know, you look at esports, big ones. You look at CS, you look at League. You know,
It sounds like it's becoming more arcade than anything else.
It's more of an arcade, more arcade game. I mean, COD's always been an arcade shooter, but it's more random than it's ever been. You know, you look at Halo. I love how Halo does it because they say we're building our game for competitive first. They have a great casual and social community, tons of party modes, ton of fun, but the game fundamentally is built as a fair, balanced, competitive game. So people have fair starts, people have fair health. It's hit scan. You know, it's dedicated servers at 60 hertz.
Right.
You know, they mix up the formula for party game modes and social and have a ton of fun with it. But the game fundamentally is competitive. Call of Duty is not fundamentally competitive. It is casually. It is complete casual. You know, fundamentally, they have features like flinch, which is when you're being shot, you have random kick on your gun, which makes it so in a gunfight, you might randomly lose because somebody gets a few kick over you. That's not competitive. You know, stuff like that. I think Call of Duty, and the scary thing is they're looking at trying to expand it into a league like OWL does. Instead of the
Right.
CWL with the open events, they're going to go like full franchise. And that is freaky because now you have a game that it comes out every year and it's not even really that competitive, but it's just considered competitive because, I mean, it's still competitive, but it's considered an esport because it's that big in the spotlight, you know? I think Call of Duty is just at a weird spot. I have fun playing, you know? I have a lot of fun playing, but I'm frustrated a lot of the time, especially as someone who's always
I've noticed you get really frustrated in this one, much more than compared to the last one.
Yeah, no, I find this game, even though World War II was garbage, multiplayer wise, and that game was fucking trash. I think that was the worst COD ever. This game makes me more upset because World War II was more fair than this game.
Mm.
This game, I get upset because
there's a lot of scummy tactics that Activision has implemented into it, and that was a fear of mine. I've spoken about on the cast in the first place, but I think we can pretty much expect Activision to do what they do now. I'm definitely going to call it on this one. What was your game of the month?
My game of the month?
Yes.
Probably Red Dead, but I should probably... I haven't played... All I haven't played is God. Blackout was my game of the month.
Okay. So despite all the aggravation, it's Call of Duty Blackout mode.
It's the Blackout mode.
Do you think the game should have been $60?
I think Blackout should be... You want to know what I really think should have happened? I think, and this is someone who doesn't really play COD campaigns that vividly, I don't think they should have scrapped the campaign. Just for marketing value, I think they should have kept it.
You don't say.
I don't think the campaign matters, really, and I don't think it's really a selling point for COD. But I think the initiative that they should have taken from the game.
Okay.
The Battle Royale is a free-to-play game. I think Blackout should be separate than Black Ops 4. I think it should be free-to-play. I think they should have the Fortnite Battle Pass system on it. I think
there you go.
Blackout should be its own thing. You know?
E2Pay. That's the word going around now. That's what it is.
Well, free-to-play, and Fortnite's really, I feel like, revolutionized the free-to-play model because it's completely fair.
But no one's using that. They're all saying you have to buy this outright and then pay for the microtransactions afterwards. That's why this turn of phrase is going around. Fee to pay now. That's what Call of Duty has become. It's a fee to pay game.
The funny thing, their microtransaction system is the same thing as Fortnite's. They released their Blackout game free to play.
Then it should have been a free game.
Well, if they'd released it free to play, they might actually be fighting Fortnite head on head right now.
Maybe, but they didn't do that, did they? They got greedy.
The big reason that Blackout's having a hard time is because, first of all, you have to buy it. You know, a lot of kids, your big kid audience, which is what's going to make your thing a phenomenon, has to go out and buy it. It's an M-rated game. They have to get carded. This is a free-to-play game. Everybody would just be downloading it, and everybody would be playing it, and nobody would care. Right. Everybody would be playing it because everybody is able to play it regardless of how much money they have. They all have a console. It plays well. It plays equally on. They could, implement crossplay with PlayStation and Xbox, this game could be huge as a free-to-play game, but it's kind of stuck in the Black Ops 4 box.
Yeah.
Multiplayer, I think there's so much fluff. That's my annoyance. I think, the reason I love CS is because there is absolutely, positively no fluff. Here's your map. Here's your guns.
But people still play it to this day.
Yeah, here's your economy mechanic. Now you guys play the game, and you guys see what happens.
All right.
I love it. Call of Duty, because right before Black Ops 4, I was playing tons of MWR. It was great because it was so Modern Warfare is so simple. There's no fluff. It comes down to the player. In an arena shooter, it should come down to the player on how the game evolves. So that's my spiel.
Okay. Well, I'm calling it. I think it goes without saying the game of the month is definitely Red Dead Redemption 2.
I agree.
And I personally, I'm in a toss-up between Mega Man 11 and Super Mario Party. I'm leaning towards Mega Man 11 as number 2.
I really want to play that game. I'll be streaming that game. You bet your ass I will be streaming.
Me and Kevin both streamed our full experience with the game. Kevin's from the Retrocast. So just one more time for the audience. We did cover games that are coming out of the PlayStation Classic. That was a fun little spur of the moment thing. But we did Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Super Mario Party, Forza Horizon 4, Mega Man 11, Red Dead Redemption 2, Starlink, and Black Ops 4. So fun month. November is going to be very interesting with Battlefield 5 coming out. There's some PSVR games coming out. I always love talking about those because they're very interesting and different. Fallout 76 is that's something. Pokemon Let's Go will be great. And then The Quiet Man came out, and that's saying it right now, it's like the worst game of the year.
Okay.
It was not what I was expecting.
Definitely coming into the next month, I'll be playing a little bit more of the games. Just there was a lot of COD going on, and I'm trying to get a little more into variety streaming.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pick up a Switch here at some point, play Pokemon, and I'm gonna play Red Dead, definitely.
All right. Well, those in the audience, thank you for listening. Those in the live stream, thank you for watching. Don't forget to enter the contest the Red Leaf Retrocast has going on right now. Leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Take a screenshot. Send that to @BowlingJD Red Leaf Retrocast. You can use the hashtag Red Leaf Retrocast. That'll be even easier to find. If you forget to what Twitter it goes to somehow. You can also enter via subscribing on the YouTube channel Red Leaf Retrocast or following us on Podbean, our host podcasting site. Those are the 4 ways to enter. You can enter as many times as you want of those 4 ways, and the winner will be decided. You can pick an anime to review for the cast. All the shoutouts included retro theme and couple games that we'll review on the Retrocast, or the retro wrestler spotlight. The wrestler must be retired. So big retro theme. This is to get you guys in the audience involved in the podcast. We're coming up on 2 years in under 2 months now. And Drew, this was the 100th Red Leaf Retrocast episode.
Really?
The 100th one.
That's cool.
So congratulations. 100. We have reached the triple digits. Took us almost 2 years, but it finally happened. So thank you everybody for joining us. Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us and supporting us through the years. Well, through the almost years now. And we are in talks to get a special new logo and branding for the cast and celebration.
And I'm in talks with the same guy to do something. I don't know. Something.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and look forward to the next one in November.
Definitely. In November. Oh. Is that the end, or?
Yeah, we're going to stop recording.
I'll stop recording right now?
Yep.
Cool.
Post show.
Alrighty. Export. Import? No, I'm exporting audio. This is 15, right?
Yep, 15. Man, you guys were talking about Taco Bell in your chat the whole time. Oh, I want Taco Bell. That was a tough cast to get through with a lot of the audio hiccups. Taco. Cool. Gotta check that stuff. Why can I not hear you now? Must be a thing going on with Discord today. Kind of doing that in the Retrocast.
No, oh man.
Alright. You everybody?